So where do I start with this? I'm a comedian, as some of you know, and I run events as a business. And when COVID kicked off, all my gigs and events were cancelled. My comedy club in Singapore closed down. My festival in Asia, that it was postponed twice. 4 years of work, my income, my ability to earn a living were all killed, not by COVID, but COVID restrictions. And I wasn't entitled to get the free COVID money that the government are borrowing to give out to people who they forced to stop working, which will have zero long-term consequences whatsoever. I attempted to fix all of my problems by watching all of Netflix while being drunk. And then my beautiful French girlfriend left me. That's when my friend Joe and his lovely girlfriend, Cammy, called me when they heard about my breakup. And Joe sang on the telephone, "I've got something you don't have. Guess what it is? A girlfriend." And I laughed because that's funny, right? And then he invited me to Greece, and there was no mask crap over there. And I went over to Greece, delighted with myself, enjoying going into the bars like a normal human being, touching strangers, shaking hands, kissing, having a great time. And I was kind of enjoying myself until I was eating Greek salad, and I dropped an olive on the ground, and my response was, "Fuck! I dropped my olive!" And then Joe said, "Wow, wow, wow. I lost my business, my career, my girlfriend, and now I lost my olive. Wow, wow, wow." I laughed because that was funny. It was funny. That's what friends do. They make you laugh in difficult times. And as a comic and a human being, that's what I try to do. I try to bring laughter to the madness of the world. And I wrote what I thought was a funny post on Facebook about not wearing a mask. And people went Wuhan batshit crazy over the post. Probably so. And in my defense, one of the main reasons I moved to Amsterdam was because they had a policy of not wearing a mask at the time. They actively said not to wear a mask, thinking this is the place for me. Anyway, here's my post. I was staying in the Holiday Inn Express in Amsterdam, long stay. Midway through my contract, they changed their policy and asked me to put a mask on when entering the building. I said no thanks. They wrote to me and told me that they understood it was an inconvenience, but insisted I wore it or I would need to leave. And here's my response. Yes, it has become evident that you do not understand because you call it a mere inconvenience to wear a mask rather than an enforcement of a policy that is a violation of human rights and a risk upon my health without producing any legal or medical documentation to back up your claims. For the last few days, the phone beside the bed had a constant flashing red light, which was a little distracting. I asked you and some of the other staff how to turn it off, but unfortunately no one knew or made any effort to make it stop. Luckily for me, I'm a man of many resources, so I took this matter into my own hands and settled it by putting my hat on top of it at night time. Problem solved. This was an inconvenience. However, what you refer to as a mere convenience is more of a serious violation of my rights and enforcement of an Orwellian and nonsensical rule that I've never agreed to. Furthermore, you've repeatedly failed to provide any proof or research that you're relying upon to justify the enforcement of this absurd policy. You wrote that you really want all guests to wear a face mask in the elevator and lobby. I would really like you to take the masks off, stop participating in fear, and to end world poverty. But sadly, we don't always get what we want, do we, Leanne? I shall not be wearing a mask for the following reasons. I'm not celebrating Halloween, Purim, or the Day of the Dead. I'm not sick. I'm not a doctor, a dentist, or a shaman. I don't work in a sewer or a morgue. I'm not welding, fencing, or on a motorbike. I'm not in the IRA, the KKK, or into BDSM at this moment. I'm not a puppet, a bandit, a bank robber, or a samurai. I'm not in the movie V for Vendetta or Phantom of the Opera, and I'm not Batman. I'm not at a carnival, nor part of a cult, and I'm not doing an African tribal dance. I'm not Zorro, Mike Myers, or a Mexican wrestler. I'm not a Venetian, an astronaut, or a Greek theatrical performer. But the main reasons I'm not wearing a mask is because I don't want to. Furthermore, it's not compulsory. There is no law to enforce it, and you provided no medical proof that it helps. It appears to me we've no alternative but to bid you adieu. Alas, our time has come. I shall start to look for more suitable accommodation. Apart from this ridiculous attempt to enforce a ridiculous policy, I've quite enjoyed myself here. Thank you and all the staff for your welcoming smiles, friendly conversation, and I genuinely wish you all the best. Aidan. Now, I got over 400 comments. And you might find this bit hard to believe, but not all of those comments were telling me how witty and attractive I am. No, a lot of the comments were a little bit mean, actually. And so I'll give you an example of some of them. I won't give you the nice ones. I'll just give you the more entertaining ones. Hi there, here in Wisconsin, the epicenter of the pandemic. It's real. People are getting sick and dying, and not just the elderly are already immune compromised. Also, other people are having to decide who gets to live by making decisions on who gets a bed. I understand that you're a white, cisgender male, so I understand up to this point, you've never been inconvenienced to think of others' plight. And I know this won't change your mind. You, full stop, are, full stop, wrong, full stop, Marie Hemming. Now, if I'd only known that about being a white cisgendered male and never being inconvenienced, I should have just said that when they were closing down my business. Oh, sorry guys, you can't do that actually because I'm actually a white male. Maybe you didn't realize that. Or maybe when I was breaking up with me, I was like, sorry, I think you're missing my face. Did you see my face? It's white and I'm male. So we'll have right, get the fuck out of here. Now the next person wrote pretty much the same thing, the same essence, but in less words. Go fuck yourself, John Savoy. Thanks for that, John. Then a friend of mine, Pooja from Singapore, been watching your posts over the past few weeks. I hear where you're coming from, of course, but I still can't help but feel if the battle for freedom you need to fight is around fucking face masks, you're fighting a very small and very pathetic fight indeed. I hope you don't mind me saying that. I don't. That's fair. I know you're a smart guy. Perfect. You could have ended there, Pooja. I'm just telling you, I disagree with your position entirely, and your charlatan attempts at justifying it are even worse. Charlatan, I like that. It triggers me. It triggers me. It triggered it. Now, this next person has about 10 different lines. I just gave you one of them. Rachel Bertheld. Go eat yourself. Ride that high horse straight to hell. That's really mean because, like, hell, I don't really buy into hell too much, but like that's like eternity in pain. That's not a nice thing to wish on anyone. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, not even Bill Gates. Richie Nemo Goodacre, 10 points for your name, buddy. 10 points for your name. You just look like an arsehole for making people's lives that much harder. It's shit for everyone. Give them a break. They're just doing their jobs. Where have I heard that before? I hope you and the ones you love catch COVID. Thanks, Ray. Fucking cool. Real nice.
Oh my God.
Cat. Fuck me. Definitely she should have stopped there. You're like those. This is actually a good one. This is one of my favorites. You're like one of those people who film themselves being dicks to others, but assume they're in the right. So they put it on YouTube and then realize they were cunts all along. Can't argue with that. The next one is, it's a bit crap, but I'll read it anyway. Jeff Andrus, you are of the opinion, ? Didn't know you were both a scientist and a comedian. How ambitious of you. Dana, he tagged someone else in it. Dana, maybe if Aidan had lived through the AIDS crisis and replaced the word mask with condom back then, he would know how fucking stupid and selfish he sounds. I can't wrap my head around how he's asking somebody to wear a mask during COVID, not like asking gay men to wear a condom during the height of the AIDS crisis. Like it's a small price to pay to not have people you know fucking die. I'm pretty sure if I was a gay dude, in the crisis where everyone was talking about AIDS, and I knew people that I would have worn a condom. I'll be honest with you, I would have worn a condom, or I wouldn't have had sex. I could have just waited to get one person that I loved and got tested with that person, and then had unprotected sex, or just maybe, yeah, I don't know, anyway. I also got called dumbass and asshole. Now, this is when I realized something. This COVID thing actually is seriously. If people are going to react like that, it must be serious. Because if you're wearing a mask, normally you breathe in oxygen, but if you're wearing a mask, then you're breathing in the waste of the carbon dioxide, which is meant to leave your body. And that, if you keep doing that, will make you live less long. And more seriously, it is now documented, it's proven to make sure that you lose all of your sense of humor. It's a good word, but we got there. So I asked these people who felt so strongly about their point of view. I mean, if they had the time to write that stuff to me, surely they'd have the time to prove that wearing a mask helps reduce the spread of COVID. But not one of them came back with any proof whatsoever. Not one piece of decent scientific data, just silly opinion-based articles that made me more convinced that wearing a mask does not help. We can't simply base our opinions on hearsay or some article in the middle of the New York Times. It doesn't work. You need proof that wearing a mask is good. I mean, look, from my side, right, when I posted that post that I just shared with you about being asked to leave the hotel, guess what happened? Someone saw my post, knew someone else who had a beautiful wooden house in the middle of the city in Amsterdam with a garden, and they gave me this, like a hand-built, I'm in it now, hand-built wooden house with a spiral staircase for less money than I was paying for the IKEA Holiday Inn room. And on the same day, this woman that I fancied, like before I had a girlfriend years ago, reached out to me and said that she's single now and would like to come and visit me in my new wooden house in Amsterdam. Now, nice one. What I'm trying to say here is that clearly the universe is supporting me. God is on my side, and that's my proof that wearing a mask is bad. That's my scientific evidence. That's just, I think it's even better than, anyway.
It works.
Thank you. Technically, I can't prove that these insulting comments are wrong. In fact, if my ex read through these comments, she must have been patting herself on the back. I dodged a bullet there. Maybe she's even sending friend requests to John Savoy. Look, I was in the same position as most people in the sense that I took the regulations seriously at the start when I believed there was a pandemic, or when there was a pandemic. In fact, at the start of the pandemic, the Irish government said there's no reason to wear a mask. So I was like, fuck, where can I buy a mask? The mask that I bought was a filtering face piece respirator mask. That's the large white one. You know, I look like a nappy face stormtrooper. It's the one with a plastic nozzle that breathes in COVID and breathes out fear. I wore the mask. I wore the mask when I went shopping at Lidl, because that's where you catch COVID. You wouldn't get it at Marks and Spencer's. So if you shop at Marks and Spencer's, you can continue feeling people up in the aisles as long as you have your gropey gloves on. These two middle-aged women, grown women, older than me, and they saw me walking towards them. They had no masks on. One of them looked at her friend, looked at me, looked at her friend again, and said, "Ah, bless him." Women mocking me for being a coward with my mask on. I was the one being responsible. And then this tall, hairy, sweaty man came right up to me within my 2-meter invisible force field. And I saw, because he was so close, I could see what was in his basket. He had 6 tins of Guinness. He had Tato cheese and onion crisps, 2 tins of beans, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. And this is exactly what he had consumed the day before. Now, you might ask yourself, well, how could I possibly know what he'd consumed the day before? I'll tell you how I knew. I knew for the exact same reason that I knew that he had a flatulence condition, weak sphincter muscles, and no sense of shame. in my 2 meter space. And for a moment, I was about to be angry, but then I realized this can't harm me. I've got my mask on. Of course it's going to be safe. I've got my filtering face piece, respirator, mask on, and then, oh God, how is this possible? How can I smell this? Oh my God, my mask must be broken. And what happens if this guy has got COVID? I could die from COVID, the worst type of COVID, ass COVID. I was so angry that this murdering man had nearly killed me with ass COVID. I felt violence upon me. I wanted to hit him, but I was afraid of touching him because I didn't have my gropey gloves on. So instead I gave him a dirty look, but all he could see was my terrified little eyes.
Bless.
I thought to myself, guys, I think we need to really take this matter seriously. We really need to take it seriously. Okay, COVID has been found in sewage since November 2019. So if anybody has farted near you since November, you should be dead. We need our governments to step in. We need the Garda Síochána, the police, to stand in the aisles of Tesco's and Lidl and all those shops and not just stop us from buying socks for children and pencil cases. They need to ban the sale of beans. And we need them to demand that everybody in Ireland wears at least one butt plug at all time in our asses. And we need to wear ass masks over our pants to make other people feel safe. At the time, I couldn't come up with any response to this tall, hairy fart man because I had a lack of oxygen going to my brain. But later on, I came up with some responses which you can use if someone does a COVID fart or any type of fart near you. If you're in an enclosed space, a shop, an elevator, you know, these are the things that you can say. Inquisitory. So what did you have for lunch today? Misinterpretation. Well, it's awfully nice to meet you too. Admiration. Nice one, bro. Don't leave me hanging. Accusatory. You are fucking disgusting. Philosophical. The colon, the particles that have just left your colon are inside my lungs. So where do you end and where do I begin? Catholic. Oh, sweet Holy Mary, Mother of Jesus. Jewish. It's just, won't harm you. It's just a bit of gas. Come on. That's my favorite one. My Jewish friend who's here in this chat room wrote that one. Atheist. I don't believe it. Feminist. Me too. Chauvinist. Oh, women. Oh, I blame them. Dirty bitches. Putin. This is disgusting. If you do it again, I will ride you like a bear. Greta Thunberg. You've destroyed the ozone layer. How dare you? Joe Biden. What's going on?
Yeah, where am I?
Hello, Greta. Can I smell your hair? Perverted. Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, the smell of your ass is the only way I can come. Oh yeah, do it again. Oh, spank me, daddy. Connoisseur. I believe I detect an aroma of Christmas dinner. Am I right? Am I right? Enlightened. The atoms can be broken into subatomic particles, tiny little wavelets of light flashing rapidly, dying and being reborn hundreds of millions of times per second, which means you, me, all of us don't truly exist, but yet this still fucking stinks. Or my personal favorite, drop your pants, stare at him in the eyes and say, oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were playing the let's be inappropriate in a supermarket game. Guys, that fart bit that I did, I'm sorry if it was a little bit long-winded. But then everything changed. The government announced that we do need to start wearing masks. Fuck that. So I whipped it off faster than Jeffrey Epstein whipped off his towel at massage time. Faster than his friend Prince Andrew lost all respect in that interview, faster than his other buddy, Bill Gates, said, I didn't know he was a pedo. Faster than the media concluded that Epstein's death was a suicide. Faster than Hillary Clinton deleted those emails. Faster than a 12-year-old girl runs when she sees Joe Biden. Faster than a 74-year-old overweight American president beat COVID-19. Faster than 81 Irish golfers said, I didn't know. Anyway, my point is I took the mask off because I realized it doesn't work. It doesn't stop COVID particles, right? Trying to catch COVID particles with a mask is like trying to catch wasps with a football net. But my friend said to me, no, Aidan, it's not about the particles. It's about the spitballs. And I went, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense because people spit when they speak. Some people do, like the elderly or angry people or Asians.
Oh.
I'm not being racist, but let's face it, they did start this thing. I'm not being racist, but maybe, just maybe some people should wear a condom when they're making love to bats. Tara? No, of course, if it truly was racist or blaming, that would create division. And divided, we can be conquered. We need to act from a place of love and truth. And the truth is that those who wear a mask are doing it for the right reasons. They believe that they're reducing the spread of COVID, doing their bit for society, and ultimately saving lives. Thank you. And likewise, those people who are not wearing masks are doing it for the right reasons. They believe they're reducing the spread of mistruths, doing their bit for society, and ultimately saving lives. And likewise, those Asians who are making love to bats are doing it for the right reasons. One child policy, lonely, lonely, lonely. Who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? We need to see this as a positive opportunity. It could be, masks on people's faces or not on people's faces could be the perfect way of filtering out people who you do or do not want to hang out with, like a life Tinder. Oh, look, he's wearing a mask on public transport. I feel safe. I'll sit beside him. I think we could be friends. Oh, look, he's not wearing a mask. He probably thinks that Bill Gates wants to vaccinate and chip us as part of the enslavement of humanity. He seems like a sensible chap. I think we could be friends. But the problem is, the maskers want the anti-maskers, or as I like to call them, the face liberators. They want the anti-maskers to become maskers, which makes them angry, which you can see from their faces because they're not wearing a mask. And the real problem is that angry people are more likely to shout, which inevitably leads to spitballs, creating more COVID.
Very good.
Thank you.
Got there in the end.
The problem is that the regulations are causing some people to lose everything. Some people are becoming depressed and overwhelmed, and they cry, which leads to tears, and tears spread more COVID. Tears can now kill people as if tears were not sad enough by themselves. Tears are the new farts. Wet farts, which we all know are the worst type of farts. Bad eye wet farts. The only good out of this was when my girlfriend, when we were still together, when she was being emotional, I had a good excuse to just walk away. Sorry, stop crying, sweetheart. No, it's not that I'm uncomfortable with your emotions, but your sad wet eye farts are killing Granny. That was good. That was fun. To stop your tears spreading COVID, the solution is you need to wear goggles. But the problem is the gogglers are getting angry with the anti-gogglers. And I, for one, am proud to be an anti-goggler. But if the government starts telling me not to wear goggles, then I'll be the first one down to the swimming pool. Seriously, so where does this end? Like, where does it end? Like, earmuffs for our ears? Nipple tassels, cling film for our pores? I mean, where will you draw the line? Chin dildos? The reason I'm wearing this chin dildo today is because Bill Gates said it reduces the spread of COVID. And actually, it's quite convenient for cunnilingus. Or not that I've ever tried it, but... Should we really trust the advice of Bill Gates? Bill Gates.
No.
A dropout who wants to vaccinate the entire planet. The same man that invented Microsoft. Microsoft, the product that's famous for viruses. I mean, 50 years of science shows us that masks don't help to reduce the spread of influenza. But in May 2020, this changed because Bill Gates said so. Guys, Hotmail is shite. Actually, I still use it. But don't worry, when I write my emails, I always wear a mask. And when I type, I use the gropey gloves. And at the end of every sentence, just to be extra hygienic, I lick the keyboard clean. You can never be safe. Well, let's not blame Bill Gates, because maybe, just maybe, he believes he's doing good. Maybe he believes it's good to depopulate the planet. I don't know what he believes. Or else he's acting from a place of fear. He needs love also. You know, maybe his buddy, his friend who he hung out with, even after he knew he was a pedophile, his pedophile friend, Bill Gates' pedophile friend, the man that Bill Gates loved, who happened to be a pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, like maybe his buddy Jeffrey Epstein took a video of him getting a hand job from a teenager, and then someone from the top of the Bilderberg group, like Bono, pulled Bill aside and said, Bill, you need to vaccinate the planet or else we're going to show the tape to your wife. You think Melissa wants to see you with a 13-year-old's fist up your ass, Bill? I don't want to wear a mask because I don't trust Bill Gates or any of Epstein's mates. I don't want to wear a mask because I don't want to participate in a new norm or a new abnorm. I like the old norm. Remember that guy from the 1990s Twix ad? Grey will never go out of fashion because it's never been in fashion. I like that norm. I don't want to wear a mask because the World Health Organization, who admitted that they are recommending them, not because of any evidence, but because of political lobbying. They've already admitted it. But I suppose the main reason I don't want to wear a mask is fuck old people. Yeah. The elderly, anyone over 80, fuck them. Obviously, I'm joking. Obviously,
I know.
We need to protect the old and the vulnerable. We need to wrap them in blankets with COVID and let nature. I don't know about blaming the government, because I suppose they're doing their best, you know, and it's not their fault because COVID is a tricky character. COVID-19 is such a tricky character. I'm evil COVID-19 and I want to kill your grannies. If you go to a bar in Ireland without your mask on, I'll be waiting at the door like a school bully, waiting to take your money. But instead of taking your money, I'll take your life. Well, in 99.99% of the time, I'll give you mild symptoms at worst, but I'll get you. And if you go to the bar, you better have a substantial meal. Yeah, you don't have to eat it, but you have to pay it, or else I'll be able to get you. And you have to stay under 90 minutes, or I'll get you. And you better not even think about going to the shops without a mask on, or I'll be waiting in the aisles, and not just the noodle section either. No, I'll be everywhere. I'll be there if you buy socks for your kids. Oh, I'll get you then. Ooh, it's not essential. Oh, I'll get you. Anything real. If you try and buy a pair of socks for your kids, your barefoot child, you'll be in big danger, I'm telling you. Oh, yeah, and if you have a neighbour over or you visit someone, even if they're in need, I'll get you. If there's groups anywhere more than 2, I'll get you. Unless it's 35 or 40 people and you're young in a school, then you're fine, because I don't touch kids. Evil COVID-19, not evil Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, you should be scared. You shouldn't be laughing at me. Oh, you can go to mass and say your prayers. Oh, yeah, I'll be in the aisles. Oh, watching you. Especially if you're old. I feckin' hate old people. Geriatric feckers, every last one of them with their wrinkles and their long stories. The only people who hate old people more than me is the Irish politicians. They hate those wrinkly fuckers so much they won't let their families visit them in the homes, so they sent me in instead. It's not just old people I'm after. No. I get you if you have an underlying condition. Fuck the weak, that's what I say. And if you're fat, oh, then you're in big trouble. You better start running, fatty. Run, but never more than 5 kilometers away from your house, or I'll be waiting in the bushes and I'll ride you to home. If you cross the invisible border from one county into the next, oh, I'll get you. Even if you have a car with 8 masks on your own, I'll feckin' know, and I'll get you. Cross the border into Northern Ireland, but you can never, as long as you don't go out after 10 p.m. because I get you after 10 in Northern Ireland. And if you're in America, I'm more likely to get you if you're black, because I'm a feckin' racist too. You shouldn't be laughing. This is a serious matter. In Canada, oh, I'll get you if the music goes above 80, 85 decibels. It hurts me over years. I hate that. In the Netherlands, 5 meters apart, but you can still go to the theatre for some reason. Oh, that's it. Go to the theatre, you'll be grand, but you can't have the 2 meters apart in Ireland, but you're safe at a golf meeting with 80 fellas rubbing each other's mickeys. And if you're at a funeral in Ireland, well, then I'll respect you. I'll leave you alone, as long as there's 15 of you. But if there's 16 of you, so heavy. Oh, yeah. The only place you're safe. The only place you're safe is the place with no regulations. Oh, Sweden. Oh, somehow you tricked me with your no regulations. Oh, Sweden, I hate you. Sorry, guys. I lost connection there for a second. What happened? Back. I don't know what was going on. I was just having a cup of tea there. I think, I suppose fear is always the enemy. It was one of the American presidents, Roosevelt, said that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear itself. And I say don't be afraid. Children of the world, do not be afraid, because you're more likely to die by getting hit from lightning than die from COVID-19. So if you're going to wear a mask, wear a rubber mask. In fact, to be extra safe, wear a rubber suit. If I have any message for the world, that's it. Protect our children by putting them in rubber suits. Look, the reality is, some of us are going to die. We're going to die at some stage. Like, it's statistically likely that some of us are going to die. The majority of us have significantly more chances of being killed by a car than COVID-19. So does that mean that we should all travel by bicycles? Well, Greta Thunberg would be happy. In fact, she'd wet herself inside her rubber suit. But even if we did stop driving cars, and we started riding bicycles, and we only traveled on bicycles, well, still statistically, you're more likely to be killed by a bicycle than COVID-19. That's a fact. Statistically, Greta Thunberg is more likely to die from drowning in her own piss inside her rubber suit than to be killed by COVID-19. If you're under 50, you've got a 1 in 4,000 chance of being killed by a bicycle, right? And and you have a 1 in 5,000 chance of being killed by COVID, but only if you get infected. Now, I'm not saying that COVID-19 is completely blown out of proportion. I'm not saying that the regulations are blown out of proportion. What I'm saying is we need to ban the Tour de France. That's it. We need to lock up those suicidal, spandex-wearing lunatics. I mean, people die all of the time. People die from falling down the stairs. But should we arrest anyone? Oh yeah, I get a chance to lock people down now. Who we lock down? Right, we're going to lock down the second row. I don't know who it was. You're locked down. Second row's gone. How do you like that? Yeah, we just lock anyone we want down. There we go. Yeah, how do you like those apples? What about this person? You're in lockout too. Yeah, there you go. What do you got to say for yourself, Jerry? Nothing, because I've taken all your power away. That's actually pretty funny. I quite enjoy that. Right, where are we now? People die from falling down the stairs. But like, we can't just go around arresting anybody who doesn't live in a bungalow. It wouldn't be reasonable. People die from slipping in their bathroom. But should we arrest anybody who smells nice? No, of course not. People die from fires, but should we limit the number of matches in a matchbox to 6? No, that would be ridiculous. People die from nut allergies, but should we quarantine anyone who's been within 2 meters of a Snickers bar? Look, I'm a massive coward. I'm a coward, but even I would be willing to not wear a mask while cycling a bicycle through a thunderstorm with a full box of matches in my pocket and a massive bag of nuts down my rubber pants. I mean, how ridiculous is this? I mean, is it only me? Is it really? Is it not like every time I see someone wearing a mask, I just think that it's absolute insane. Anyway, I go back to my comedy. Anyway, I walked into a bar. Like this is a good story. I walked into a bar in Stony Batter. I'd been there a few times. It's nice. I liked it. I walked into a bar and this barman told me I had to wear a mask. Hey, sorry to bother you. If you could just go back outside and put on your mask, that'd be great. Now, I wasn't sure if he was deliberately sounding like Simon Harris, or is this just how all patronizing cunts sound? But I saw other people in the bar not wearing masks, so I said, they're not wearing a mask. That's because they're sitting down. You only need to wear the mask when you're standing up. So I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to go back outside, put the mask on, and then re-enter the bar. I'm already in the bar. He wanted me to go back outside and re-enter with the mask on, as if we were reshooting a really shitty scene from the movie of my life. Hang on, Simon. So what you're suggesting is that even though I've already come in here without a mask on, in some way it's going to help reduce the spread of COVID-19 if I go back outside, put a mask on, and then walk back in again. I just don't think reality works like that, Simon. I don't think that pretending to go back in time will just make everything okay again. Really, if you really think it'll help, fine. Why not just take this idea of yours a step further? Why don't we all pretend to go back to January and start the year again? In fact, fuck, let's go back to November 2019 and stop that Asian from fucking that bat. There's no need for racism here. I explained I was already in the bar, and I asked if I could just sit on my seat as it was closer than the door. No, I'm sorry, but it's the law. So I'm afraid we almost work together. So if you don't mind. Yeah, actually, I do mind. I don't have to wear a mask because according to Section 5.2a of the legislation, basically anyone who suffers from severe stress doesn't have to wear a mask. Now, he was not happy with my newly acquired condition, but at the same time, he didn't want to be the guy to kick out a possible winner at the Special Olympics. Come on, Aidan. You don't really get severe stress from wearing a mask, do you? Well, I fear that if I wear a mask, I might be participating in something I don't believe in. I might be participating in a dangerous second wave of fear, which is being used as a tool to fool humanity out of our basic human rights, such as the right to travel freely, the right to earn a living, the right to gather, the right to protest, to connect as human beings, the right to hug, to touch, to breathe freely. I'm deeply afraid of the consequences of the oncoming transfer of wealth, economic depression, enforced vaccinations, and the unquantifiable psychological damage on the human psyche. So yeah, wearing a mask does cause me stress.
Yeah.
Thank you. But my brother, Stephen, who I love, he forgot his mask, and Simon was now standing at the door like a tough guy. You know, he'd gone from being a sniveling weasel politician to a hipster John B. Rambo. And he refused Stephen entry. So my brother, the legend, asked one of us to give him our used masks, and he put it on his face, which then became the communal mask for the night. But then said, I don't think this is very responsible, but at least you're following the rules. And then my friend, who genuinely is, he has a proper disability. He had an injury when he was 21. He's a paraplegic. He arrived in his wheelchair, but was refused a straw because it's too dangerous, as it can't be individually wrapped. Are you shitting? Refusing a guy in a wheelchair a straw. So we had to hold Connor's pints with our COVID-ridden fingers up to his lips. But luckily, he was safe, since, as Simon had already pointed out, you can't catch COVID when you're sitting down in a bar. Which makes Connor invincible against COVID, the lucky bastards. Then Simon had the audacity to give me and my friends a lecture. Look, guys, we really need to work together, and you guys need to take this a little bit more seriously. So can I ask everybody to wear a mask when you're going for a wee? It's for your own safety. And Connor shouted out, sorry, mate, it's hard to hear you with that silly mask on your face. Legends. People are wearing masks, and I think a lot of them are wearing the mask not because they're afraid of COVID, but because they're afraid of confrontation, authority, or getting a dirty look from a stranger. I saw a group of women in Dublin on a night out with masks on their necks because they were afraid of ruining their makeup. The government is borrowing billions of euros, spending it on media campaigns to constantly warn us how dangerous the virus is because the public thinks it's less of a problem than smudged lipstick. Statistically, they're probably correct. Some people are wearing masks because they're afraid of hearing a boring story. Oh, I know someone who knows someone, and they died. They had leukemia, a heart condition, and they were 98 years old at the time. But I'm pretty sure it was the old COVID that got them in the end.
Yeah.
If any of you have a mask on your faces, or you don't have a mask on your face, and somebody comes up to you and asks you where your mask is, here's some possible responses for you. Where is your mask? Oh, sorry, I left it in my bedroom beside my handcuffs and my whip, you naughty boy. Where is your mask? I don't wear a mask because it gets in the way when I'm licking the handrails. Would you like a hug? Where is your mask? Oh, fuck, I forgot my fencing sword too. Where is your mask? Masks are for ugly people. I see you may need a second one. Where is your mask? Masks are for clowns. Can you juggle? Where is your mask? I just didn't feel like dressing up this year. Where is your mask? I don't have to wear one because I identify as a 13-year-old boy. Now, fuck off, you pedophile. Where is your mask? I have one on. It's see-through. It's the invisible style, but you can only see it within 2 meters, but you're not allowed within that distance. So have a nice day. Where is your mask? I don't wear a mask because I'm already wearing one, man. I put this smile on the outside, but on the inside, I'm filled with sadness and rage at the madness that's going on in the world. Maybe, just maybe, we could all take our masks off together. I was on a plane. I really enjoyed this, actually. I really enjoyed this experience. It was worth it. I was on a plane from Athens to Amsterdam because I went to visit Greece because my friend Joe was there. And I was waiting for takeoff, but my nose was sticking out over the top of the mask because that way it makes it easier for me to breathe. And there was this strong, good-looking, tall man, about 30 years old, like a young Dutch Brad Pitt, sitting beside me. And he pointed to my nose, which was sticking out, and he politely but firmly asked me to put my mask on properly. To which I responded, "Are you scared of my nose?" He explained that he wasn't worried about my nose, not afraid for himself, but the rules were we must have our mouth and face fully covered. So I obliged him, closed my eyes, and said a prayer for humanity. Once the plane took off, I wanted to eat my overpriced but delicious kettle crisps, sea salt flavour. However, just as soon as I opened the packet of crisps and taken out a crisp, I realised I would not be able to put the crisp in my mouth without upsetting Brad. So I put the crisp down on the table on a clean tissue, in case you're worried about my health, and pondered, to crisp or not to crisp. I asked myself, well, what would Greta Thunberg do? But I realised this may be the wrong question because she wouldn't be too happy with all these wasteful, dirty masks ending up stuffed inside shells. I just muted them. This is great, being able to mute people. That's really powerful. Who needs real comedy shows? So I looked at it, and so I couldn't rely on Greta. So I looked at an even younger child across the aisle who was watching a Disney movie, and wondered what would she do. I noticed that she'd no mask on, and she had a really snotty nose, which she regularly rubbed with her hand or arm on her sleeve and put everywhere without a care in the world. It was as if she had zero fear of this pandemic. But I could not do what she was doing because I didn't have any snots. So I closed my eyes for a moment and I wondered, how am I going to be able to ask Brad permission to eat my crisp without sounding like I'm mocking him? Like, seriously, how do you ask a 30-year-old grown man for permission to eat a crisp without sounding as if you're mocking him? I stared at that crisp more than I'd ever stared at a crisp. It was strong, but there was something missing in the crisp. It was a bit broken. It had been recently broken, strong, but yet so fragile, just like myself. And after some time, I picked up the courage and turned to Brad. Excuse me, sorry to bother you, but I have a question. I opened this packet of crisps and I was about to eat the crisp when I realized I didn't know how to eat the crisp without removing my mask. However, I didn't want to upset you, so I wondered, what should I do next? Can you help me help you? And he politely informed me that I was able to eat my crisp if I wanted to. He also added that he didn't mind personally, but he pointed out the airline staff must keep to the rules. I added, thanks, but please know if you have a loved one with a condition or you're not well, I don't need to eat crisps. I do love kettle crisps, sea salt flavor, but I wouldn't like to upset you. But he assured me that he was safe, his family were safe, and I could eat my crisps. Now, the problem was, he told me I could eat my crisps, but he hadn't given me permission to take my mask off, and I didn't want to push my luck. So, how do you eat a crisp through a mask? I worked out that there's 4 main options. 1, under the mask, like a postman delivering a very fragile letter. 2, over the mask, like putting a tip in a stripper's knickers. 3, through the side of the mask, like the stripper had invited me home with her and I was sliding her knickers to the side. Or 4, through the other side, as if she suggested that we have a role play and I pretend to be left-handed. I went for option 1, which is the least sexy, but it worked nicely. Also, I enjoyed the crisp. If anything, the tantric anticipation had added to my enjoyment and appreciation. The second crisp went from over the top, the tipping the stripper's knickers option 2. But this was less effective because the mask then slipped down under my nose, exposing my face vagina. And this was not a great option because as it may cause unwanted conversation from a stranger with a nose phobia. So I quickly ensured that the mask was properly attached and smiled at Brad, even though he couldn't really be sure I was smiling at all since I had my mask on, which made me ponder. If a man smiles in a plane, but he's wearing a mask and no one can see it, how do you know he's not eating a crisp with his face vagina?
As you do.
That sounds like an 0906 number.
What's that, Mark?
0906. Am I eating a crisp or am I wearing a mask?
Okay, 0906. Yeah. I didn't fully get it, but thanks.
That's all right.
Next, I went in from the side. I did that one already. Yeah. Wait. Next, I went from the other side, from the Brad side, which is actually the elbow, but my elbow touched him, which is actually the elbow I keep my dirty masks on. Oops. I was trying to sneak the crisp through the side of the mask when the child looked over, stopped looking at her Disney movie and looked at me straight in the eyes, and she laughed. She laughed in my face as I was struggling to eat my crisp. She was mocking me. She thought I was being ridiculous. The snot-nosed, little disease-spreading brat. Wait till she finds out about Santa. I found out about Santa at 5 because I had a mean sister. She told me and it was awful and I cried. Then I had to pretend for years that I didn't know, so we still got our presents. And I was part of the lie. I had to participate in it. But at least I got my presents anyway. But this kid, wait till she finds out because, well, we should find out that Santa doesn't exist, but she can't even get the presents because her parents won't be allowed to the shops to buy her any presents. No Santa and no gifts. Ha! All these salty crisps made me thirsty, so I purchased an overpriced bottle of still water, and they didn't accept cash as part of their New World Order policy. As soon as I purchased the water, I realized that the mask could get soaked if I tried to drink it through the side of the mask, so I asked the hostess, what should I do? Excuse me, I have a question. I'm wondering how I'll be able to drink my water with my mask on. What should I do? And she said, take it off, of course. You're not a prisoner. Did you hear that, Brad? I took it off immediately, filled my lungs with air and smiled. I ate another crisp without any maneuvering, washed it down with some water. I sipped that water for so long until it was finished. Then, just before it was, I purchased a second bottle of water and sipped it until we landed. I mean, it's nonsense. The child looked over again, saw me smiling with snot drooling down her little face, and she smiled back at me. And I can't be sure, but I think she looked at me with pride. And then when we landed, Brad took out his phone and took it off airplane mode while we were still on the runway. He risked all of our lives he had in his hands. And for a moment I judged him, but then in some way I felt proud of him too. Guys, I'm going to end on a song. This is a song that I wrote. You might recognize the chorus. Feel free to sing along the chorus. I'll unmute you. There you go. Someone has their guitar out already. If you're not unmuted, unmute yourself there. I can. Oh, I unmute. A lot of you were on mute the whole way through. Was that by choice or did I do that by mistake? Sorry if I did it. Who's Budner? Who's Budner? All right, guys, here's the song that I worked very hard to write for you on this show. I hope you enjoy it. Please do sing along, of course, if that works for you. All this talk of getting COVID, it's getting me down, my love, like a cat in a bag, waiting to drown. This time it's coming down, and I hope you're gonna join me and lay it down on this side. Now the masks don't work, they just make you worse, but I know I'll see your face again. Now the masks don't work, they just make you worse, but I know I'll see your face again. One more time, I know it's hard for all of you, I'm a bad singer. Last one. Now the masks don't work, they just make you worse, but I know I'll see your face again. Right, end scene. That's the show. You're welcome to leave or you're welcome to stay and have a chat.